anyone that doesn't already follow us on YouTube and is checking out some of the visuals we've been putting out behind the scenes on the podcast and also Sefton Place, there's a full property tour of Sefton Place on there, by the way, if you've got 25 minutes to spare, because it's quite a chunk of building to go around. But if you haven't, you're going to get a pretty good flavour of the whole building just by watching our podcast episodes, because we're just moving from space to space, aren't we, to try and find somewhere with decent audio. I can already hear we're probably going to have a bit of an echo again in this one. The challenge we've got, which is great news for Sefton Place, not so good for recording the podcast, is very high ceilings. Yeah. So we found a space, we're in the end of a corridor, lovely picture window, out views towards Arundel Castle behind us. You won't be able to see that on the camera.
And the flag is flying.
The flag is flying, so the Norfolks are home.
Yeah.
Does that mean that?
Yeah, we'll go for that.
Okay. We found somewhere with a bit of carpet, basically, to try and soften the sound a little bit. But I think this makes the podcast quite unique.
Yeah, it is. It's a movable feast, isn't it?
Yeah, you watch podcasts now on YouTube. They're beautifully produced. They've got all the acoustic paneling in the background. You find me another podcast that has wood chip wallpaper with vanilla paint, magnolia paint. That's what it's called, isn't it? Magnolia paint, wood chip wallpaper as the background. Come on, what more can you want? So yeah, we're bouncing around. Apologies that we didn't come to you with an episode last week.
It was bank holiday.
It was bank holiday.
Friends down.
And we were all over the place. So we couldn't record it on the bank holiday, but we were all over the place. You were up and down, I was up and down. We had different people to meet, and we just literally couldn't fit it in.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot to cover today, because we've got pretty much 2 weeks of progress at Sefton Place and other things that inevitably have kicked off over the last 2 weeks. But most importantly, before we get into the meat of the episode, is to talk about Staycation Gateway.
Oh, it's very exciting, isn't it? I've not really been involved in that. I'm more an end user.
You've been on the periphery, haven't you? But we are days away now. Days away from the launch of Staycation Gateway. We're all super excited. This is something we've been working on in the background for some months now. The team have done an amazing job. And do you know what it is? It does what it says on the tin, actually. It's the Staycation Gateway. It's the gateway for everything staycations based in the UK. And I'm not talking just about booking accommodation. Clearly that's what we do, so that's part of it. But that isn't even really front and centre. This is about showcasing and celebrating the beautiful national parks, historic towns and beauty spots that make the UK so special, right? We love travelling around the UK. Yep. You know, we're lucky enough to spend some time in some of those beautiful spaces. It's where we invest, it's where we run our business. But even just pulling together this portal has inspired me to want to get out again into the UK and discover some of these places that we're showcasing.
Stunning.
We've got curated content on every single national park, every single actually not every single historic town, a lot of historic towns, more to be added, this is going to be an evolving feast.
Yeah.
But it's also about the people. You know, we're showcasing some of the amazing suppliers and producers that make these places unique. And this is a guest-facing portal. It's everything that Airbnb is masquerading as. So Airbnb, to the end user, pretends to be a portal for everything that you could do in your area. But it's just a marketplace.
It's just basically accommodation.
It's accommodation, but don't forget they've got services now. They've got experiences now. You know, they are pushing that in a big way. But not in terms of Airbnb recommends this because, you know, they've got knowledge of the area and, you know, they're recommending that to get it. It's just whoever signed up that they can take a commission from.
Yeah,
it's a
basically
marketplace.
You can't validate any of the experiences for, suppliers, can you?
So Staycation Gateway will be the first of its kind. This is about curated content, recommending almost itinerary builder for anybody doing a staycation in the UK, of which, oh, by the way, you could book some accommodation. And that's not just our accommodation, by the way, because we are genuinely disrupting the industry because we can, because we don't need to earn money from this. This is a passion project for us. We are offering the opportunity to holiday let hosts all across the UK in or near these places to advertise their property for free forever. for free forever. You can list it on there, inquiry only, so the inquiries will come direct to you, direct booking, no commission, no fees. The idea is to very quickly build one of the biggest portals in the UK for people who want to visit our amazing national parks, historic towns and beauty spots.
And it's quite easy, isn't it? Because isn't there a form on there that you just fill in?
Online form, take you 5 minutes. If you look at the process you have to go through to list on Airbnb and Booking.com, you'll have it done in 5 minutes, literally.
Just basically it links through to what you've already done.
Few photos, title, bit of a description, few amenities, tick box, no. It's only an advert, remember. So this isn't a full-blown listing, it's an advert. But once the traffic builds, which I'm very confident it will, because we have curated content about locations and producers and suppliers and people all over the UK, it's going to be very, very exciting.
Yeah.
And if you don't already, it's not live yet, go onto Instagram and give us a follow at staycation.gateway, because we are running a competition at the moment. And you took some convincing of this, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, we both did, really. The team came to us and said, we need to do something special here. This is big, this is a big thing. We need to do something special. So for people who follow, share, etc., all the instructions are on the Instagram page as to what you need to do to enter the competition. You can win a 2-night stay at Little Hayes in the New Forest.
It's worth about £3,000.
It's probably worth about £3,000, if not more, depending on the time of year that you take the stay. 14 people, bring the family, bring groups of friends, whatever you want to do. It's one of, if not the most luxury accommodation venue in the New Forest National Park, and you can go for free, completely for free. Enter the competition. You've got to get onto our Instagram channel, staycation.gateway. Give us a follow, give us a share, follow the instructions in the post, and you will be the first to hear then about the launch of Staycation Gateway and everything that goes along with that.
Yeah.
So, apologies for the shameless plug, but holiday let owners will benefit, 0 fees, 0 commission. And if you're just looking to get away, if you've had a crazy summer running your own Airbnbs and stuff like that, you probably want a bit of a break, and this is a great place to do it.
And also, there's so much rhetoric in the press and everything else about, the government clamping down on absolutely everything to do with holiday lets, everything else. This is our way of trying to help, in a way, isn't it? It sounds a bit cheesy,
help
but
and celebrate. I think help, hopefully, but celebrate. Let's bring some positivity to the fact that the UK is an amazing place for tourism, an amazing place to visit. And I'm not even talking about bringing overseas visitors. Let's get out there. We've been creating content around places that I'm looking at and think, I've not been there yet. Let's get, that sounds amazing. We've got to get out there. So check it out. It's really, really exciting. But we've got loads to cover today. We've got a Sefton Place update.
Yep.
Lots has been happening over the last couple of weeks in Sefton Place. Well, maybe not as much as we'd like, but a lot has been happening. It's just a process that we have to go through. Meanwhile, the cogs are still turning with the rest of the business. So we had a drama at Eton House that we had to deal with.
No spoilers.
Yeah, and if you've listened to the previous episode, you'll have heard us talk a bit about financing deals. And we had the valuation day at our 2 blocks of apartments in Kenilworth and Castle Donington. So we're going to be talking about how that went and the experience and what happens on the day. So we're going to be going through all of that. And then what have we got at the end? Oh yeah.
Working together.
Working as a couple. I've got my phone on me, by the way, because I've got my agenda on the phone. Working together, working as a couple. I know there'll be lots, I know for a fact there are lots of people who listen to this podcast, maybe watch this podcast now, who are a husband and wife, or a mother and son, or a father and son, or whatever it might be, working with family. We don't profess to be the experts on this, by the way. However, we're just going to bring it to you real, and where we're at and what we're trying to do to be an even more effective team working together as we go.
We have our moments, don't we?
We do. Should we get into it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So Sefton Place, lots to update on. Let's start with the Wi-Fi.
Yep. So where was I when the Wi-Fi happened? I had to go to Eton House.
Yeah, we were all over the place. You were over at Eton House, I think, or Southampton or somewhere. So I showed David round.
Yep.
who is the Wi-Fi supplier that I think we're going with
Yes,
for Sefton Place. And the purpose of the site visit. So, okay, let's rewind. So, first and foremost, what we want is a managed service.
a managed service, but we also want a data capture service.
Correct. Now, this is what's new for us. This is a bolt-on specific to Sefton Place. Well, we're trialing it with Sefton Place really, because it may be that we roll this out across other venues. First and foremost, well, I guess first and foremost, we want a great internet connection across the whole building. So what these companies do on a building of this size, they come along and they quite literally survey the building. They test the thickness of the walls. They see if you're likely to have any black spots anywhere, and they work out the logical placement of the various access points that they're going to mesh into the
Yes, because
supply.
they do a desktop survey first, because they check your provision to make sure you've actually got the infrastructure within the area to be able to hook into, which we do have, which is great.
It seems we've got a decent line coming in, yeah, absolutely. The desktop survey, well, David must have done a pretty good job, because his site survey pretty much confirmed that the desktop
no changes, which we like,
was accurate. So that's all good. So we should have really good Wi-Fi, no dead spots, no, oh sorry, you're at the end of the building, so the Wi-Fi drops out. You know, we should have full WAP Wi-Fi, every single room, all the communal areas, the event space, because obviously that's crucial. We may even put in a couple of hardwired Ethernet connections for people to do presentations and stuff.
And also we're going to have smart locks as well, which will run off that as well. So,
of course, so what ends up happening is you have two networks, right? You almost have a staff network, which is kind of what your TVs and your smart locks go on. And then, so they don't take up too much of the guest bandwidth, or vice versa. What you don't want is to all the TVs to start lose connection because someone's, I don't know, mining Bitcoin or something. And then we have a guest channel, if you like, that can be monitored remotely. They can see what, I don't know about see what the devices are doing, but they can certainly see their consumption levels.
Yes.
And problem solve 99% of issues remotely, which means, oh, thank God, we don't sit on the phone to Virgin Media or other Wi-Fi suppliers are available.
They log in with their email address, so that's where the data capture is.
Yeah.
They then have to, tick the box to say they sign terms and conditions. So it's just a really belt and braces way to make sure we've got all information for, future marketing and everything else.
Email marketing opportunities off the back of it.
Because I was just saying, because the reason we're looking into this is obviously the managed side, but also the data capture, because with Little Hayes, for example, we obviously collect the data or the information from the lead booker.
This is what I was going to say. Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
But, we've got 14 people staying there, so if we use this system there, we've got 14 bits of data as opposed to one.
You have to assume, averaging it out, we're going to be collecting between 3 and 5 times the number of email addresses, you would imagine?
Easily.
Because we've got rooms, that's only 2 people, but I think if we roll this out across the portfolio, the amount of people that we can reach with things like email marketing is quite significant. So that's exciting.
It is very exciting, and it's...
we got a demo, haven't we, coming up?
Yes, we just got to give him dates.
Yeah, because I'm expecting, and it would be nice if we can brand that up according to individual sites. So a little bit like when you go to a hotel, I guess, the screen pops up, doesn't it? And you have to add your email address and stuff, and it's all branded as Premier Inn or whatever.
And I'm smiling to myself because I'm looking at all the numbers on the doors, because that's another thing, I think you mentioned it last time, was to get your door numbering right, because I spent a whole day at the Madison trying to map which Wi-Fi connection was labelled which, and because they'd gone off different plans to what we ultimately ended up with. So when the room, or guest 7 said I didn't have any Wi-Fi, they're coming back to us saying, no, 7's fine, but it wasn't actually 7, it was 14. So that is a big, definite get that right.
We haven't talked about it on the podcast actually, but there is a video on our YouTube channel. So head over to at Secret Service Podcast on YouTube, and I've done a quick walk around and a bit of some top tips, if you like, on room numbering when you're doing a project like this, multi-unit blocks, apart hotels. So go and have a look at that.
And you asked the question, didn't you? Should we have room 13?
Room 13, yeah. The jury is out, room 13. A lot of hotels are quite superstitious about having a room 13. So we debate that on the video. So go and check it out.
And also we got a room 13 at Eton House, and that was the one where you went back and the shower kept turning on.
Yeah, and also we do get no end of problems with that room. So
and the curtain
I'm not superstitious, but who knows?
But we have smudged it with sage.
Site plans are pretty much there. I mean, we're waiting for the final plans, but we have now approved and made all of the changes and everything's ready to go. That is just now annotating up to the point, to the level of detail it needs to form a planning submission, which will go to Alan and Nicola, who will put together the planning application. So we're really excited about that going in. I think
what I like about it is we've actually managed to restore quite a lot more green spaces.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, we're getting rid of a bit of hardcore and.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in a second because we had a special person come round, didn't we, to Sefton Place, and that has really inspired our plans for the outside and also for another way in which what we're doing here can hopefully be a positive addition to the community. But it's nearly done. I think we've ironed out a bit of a plan for the car parking space. And all the room plans, everything is good to go. So that goes to Alan and Nicola now. And I think there's always trepidation, it's always apprehensive about putting those plans effectively out into the public domain. This is, first and foremost, pure and simple, is a change of use. We're not doing anything other than renovating it, which doesn't need planning permission. We are not particularly doing anything drastically different. We're repurposing a couple of spaces. It's the change of use from ultimately what was a very niche kind of use. It's not to say that the previous owner didn't do what we're doing. We know that there was room by room letting going on. You know, it's on TripAdvisor and all those places. But planning use deals with the predominant use of the building, and our predominant use will not be large groups. It's not to say it won't happen, but that's...
Which I think is a good thing, because you get a large group of people together, they are noisy and...
It's a great thing. Yeah. I mean, for our neighbours, for the community, the fact that we're renting by the room now, I mean, they were renting to groups of 30, 40 people sometimes. Yeah. Those people want to hang out.
Yeah.
They want to be outside having a barbecue. 30, 40 people make noise. Yeah. I don't care how sort of respectful they're being, that's noisy. Whereas if you and I book a hotel, we might nod and say hello to other guests that we pass in the corridor, and that's it. So by the room, there's going to be very, very little disruption and no increase in capacity. If anything, well, maybe it's about the same. Yeah.
I don't know, they were saying like 120 for the youth hostel.
Well, when it was a youth hostel, if you go back far enough, youth hostel was rammed with people. This is about not over-intensifying the site. So, I was saying that as much as we're apprehensive, there's a rainbow over the castle. Look at that. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, distracted. We're excited to be putting it out there as well, for people to see what we're doing, and it sort of makes it official. And we have built some really good relationships with the local community of Warningcamp in particular. We had Tim from the parish meeting, the chair of the parish meeting. We met Tim, didn't we?
Yeah.
Really nice chap.
Yeah.
He was a font of knowledge, wasn't he?
He was, really, really useful chap to
Lots of history about the area, about the people. And we love all that. We want to know as much as we can so that we can really embed this place, bring it back to life, and make sure that it's a force for good, if you like. Speaking of which, Christine came round.
Yes.
Lovely Christine from Sussex Jams and Chutneys. So again, if you followed us on YouTube, and maybe we've spoken about it on the podcast, we have a lot of fruit trees at Sefton Place. A lot. Apparently, we more than qualify as an orchard already. Is it 5 trees or something? Trees qualify you as an orchard? I think that means our garden at home is an orchard. But anyway, Christine. So I did a bit of Facebook hunting. Christine's name popped up as someone who runs Sussex Jams and Chutneys, and at this point, we just wanted a little bit of help to identify the varieties of fruit trees. Do we have some heritage apples, for example? I don't know. We don't know anything about fruit trees. And to talk about whether or not our fruit, which ultimately, I wouldn't say it's going to waste, because the wasps and the blackbirds and all the wildlife are having a field day, quite literally.
I'm doing my best to eat it.
Yeah, we certainly can't keep up. And we've the neighbours have had some and very kindly made us some delicious apple juice and stuff like that while we've been here. But this is almost fruit on an industrial scale, small, cottage industry scale maybe. So does she have use for it? Anyway, So Christine came round. We went round and she helped us identify all of the trees. Turns out we've got I always forget the name of it.
Quince.
A quince. I think greengage. I think a greengage in my head. We've got a quince, which I thought was a pear, but apparently
It's like a furry pear.
it's a furry pear, which is a quince jelly. And yeah, so we've got some really nice fruit trees. And so I said, okay, how would it work if you had free reign to come in here whenever they're ready for harvesting, because you'll know that, being the expert, come and harvest and produce jams and chutneys. And she went one step further, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
So she said what we can do, she supplies the castle, she supplies Parham House.
Yeah.
We love Parham House.
We do love Parham House.
And she can brand them as Sefton Place or Sefton Place Orchard or whatever we want to call it. So we get little pots of jam. You know how sometimes you put a pot of jam with your welcome pack, with your breakfast goodies or whatever. Sefton Place jams and chutneys, branded, that we can include in our guests. We're really excited about this. I know it's small things, small wins, but I love this stuff. We can include in our guest welcome packs, maybe even hampers or whatever as well. That when guests arrive, we're not only supporting local, because that's something we're really passionate about. It's what Staycation Gateway is all about, by the way. But I mean, hyper local. This is from the garden. Yeah, look out of your window. Your jam probably came from that tree over there.
Yeah,
that's how local we're talking about, and that's awesome. That's pretty unique. That's a bit of a talk trigger. Really excited about that.
That's good.
But it's inspired our plans for the site, isn't it? What are we looking at for the front lawn?
An orchard.
We are really going to town, aren't we?
Yeah.
The front lawn is a lovely feature. Great to have that sort of green space to look out on, and it feels, part of the reason I think the whole setting feels so chilled and relaxed is because you've got this big front lawn area. But it's a cost.
Yeah.
You know, we have to mow it. And are we getting the most amenity value from it for the guests by just keeping it as a lawn? And that's been bugging us for a while, and suddenly this light bulb went off. We thought, we're going to extend the orchard. We're going to plant 10, 15 more fruit trees into that lawn, so it becomes a genuine orchard. There's going to be spring bulbs, there's going to be benches around the trees.
We're going to have herbs, aren't we?
Herbs along the terrace. So again, a wonderful amenity space for guests to wander, sit, chill.
Eat the fruit.
Potentially pick and eat the fruit. Health and safety warnings, disclaimers. But ultimately ramp up our orchard production so that we really do have a throughput of jams and chutneys that we can do something with to add some real value. Yeah. And we need to get going with it fairly soon, because sometimes apple trees can take 2 or more years to start yielding fruit, for example. And as soon as this rain that we've been having the last few days really kicks in and we get into autumn, we'll want to be planting out.
Yes.
So that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. That's exciting. What else have we been doing? Last thing, rip out.
Yes.
We might see some action pretty soon. So the build team that we are looking at using, looking very positively at using, we're still waiting to dot all the I's and cross the T's with that, which is why I'm not being fully committed, but we are treating the rip out separately because we can get going with that, because planning use change aside, we're going to be renovating the building, even if that doesn't involve any material change of use. So top to bottom, everything, bathroom suites, decorating, carpets, flooring. Wood chip wallpaper is going to go for sure. And we are passionate about restoring this building to, I don't know about its former glory. Well, it certainly has had former glory, but it's been all sorts of things. It's had a tough life.
It has, and I'm just looking down this corridor now, and I can't wait in 6 to 9 months, 69 months?
69 months, I hope not.
You know, it's going to be a beautiful corridor, a little console table, beautiful flower arrangement. You know, the thing is, they are so wide, these corridors.
Yeah, beautiful carpet. Carpet's not so bad, but funny enough, it probably won't end up being that different to what it is, because it's quite a nice pinstripe kind of carpet, but it's a bit knackered now. For us, it's all about honouring the history of the building whilst turning it into something that's usable and desirable for the next generation, if you like. So we're really excited about the rip out starting, hopefully, fingers crossed, early September. We're just waiting for, that's why we have a rainbow.
That's next week.
Sorry, I got distracted by the weather again. Look at the rainstorm coming in. That's why the rainbow is over the castle. Sorry, distracted again by the beautiful view we've got behind us, which you can't see, unfortunately. So yeah, rip out could be as soon as, well, I don't know about next week, but maybe the week after. That's it's going to be nice to see some stuff happening. Really, as much as we've been able to do is lift a few carpets and plonk them in the middle of the room. So this will be going right back to the bare shell. And sometimes then it's easier to envisage the design and stuff, isn't it? So that will be happening very soon. Meanwhile, the cogs have been turning on the rest of the business, and we had a drama at lovely Eton House, didn't we?
Oh, God, yeah.
You can usually predict a drama at Eton House will involve either water or fire. Well, not fire as such, but certainly the fire alarm. This one involved both.
Bank holiday weekend.
Always bank holiday weekend. Why? Why is it always the bank holiday weekend? The bank holiday gremlins. Do you suffer from that, by the way, if you're watching or listening to this? Do you find that, or is it just our perception because we want to have a bit of downtime at the bank holiday? Maybe this sort of stuff happens every weekend, I don't know. But anyway, there was a leak, quite a significant leak.
Yep, came down
from one of the rooms.
Yep.
Came down as the conference space, which actually is sort of lucky because we don't currently use the conference space at Eton House. That's locked off potentially for future development. So that didn't disrupt anybody, but what it did do is, like water tends to do, it found the point of least resistance, which happened to be the hole where the fire detector is in the roof. So we had water streaming from the fire alarm, which promptly sent a fault to the fire panel, and we had the beep, beep, alerting the whole building.
No, the fire alarm went off.
Oh, of course, well, it actually triggered the alarm a couple of times, but in between that, it was also beeping to say that there was a fault.
So we had the fire crews out on Friday night.
Of course, yeah, we actually had the fire crew out.
Brilliant Anna went out, switched it all off. We then had to get a plumber out first thing in the morning. Of course, this is a Saturday of a bank holiday weekend. Fortunately, we managed that one, so they went out, turned the water off, made sure there wasn't any leaking water. They were also able to isolate the electricity, made that safe. So we thought that was fine. The beeping had gone off, so we thought that was fine. Silly us, well, silly me. With hindsight, we should have got that detector changed straight away, because what happened at 1:30 Sunday morning? Fire alarm went off.
Yeah.
Fire brigade attended, and Anna out of bed 1:30 in the morning, had to go and sort it all out. But PG, who we use for our 24-hour fire response, came out Sunday morning and sorted it.
Yeah, great. Should have done that from the beginning. So you learn, you live and learn. Maybe these things happen for a reason. We couldn't get hold of, I guess understandably, bank holiday weekend, couldn't get hold of the plumber that we usually use. And so we reached out to a slightly larger firm that has been recommended to us in the past. We've just not needed to make that connection. Now that we have, we've asked them to quote on the complete overhaul of the plumbing system there, which we know we need to do. We're just waiting for this blasted process to go through with the current owners and the land registry and whatever the hell is going on with that, so that we can actually fund these works. So maybe that's a positive.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was
got a new connection.
And it meant I could go there again. That's the second time I've been there in a week. Because the previous week I'd gone to wait for a piece of Wi-Fi kit, sort the Wi-Fi out. That didn't turn up that week, so I was able to collect that, install it. That was working. Yeah, checking with the team, so it was fine.
Meanwhile, big day for us. We had the refinance of our 2 blocks of apartments up near East Midlands Airport.
You did such a good job on the business
and Castle
plans.
Donington. Business plans, I think we get better every single time that we do them. They were extremely comprehensive. The thing is, we've been through some life cycles now. We know exactly. So we use a valuation firm called Pinders because they value based on the business and the income. And we know exactly how they structure their valuation reports now. So I just structure my business plan exactly the way that they do.
And you put everything in that we haven't previously put in, to be fair, but you knew they would ask for, because they come back and ask for all the gas safety, electrical, pack testing, insurance, everything, don't they?
Fire safety, everything. Yeah, I mean, we tend to include some of those basics as standard, but there's lots of additional stuff that goes into this. Profit loss forecasts for the next, profit loss accounts for the last 3 years, potentially some financial forecasting as well. We include the information about our quality and tourism accreditation. So this ends up being a chunky piece of work. And I've done it, I recorded a video actually, you don't know this, but I recorded a quick video to talk people through the kind of stuff that we put. I was sat waiting for the valuer to arrive, and so I bashed out a quick video. I will try and put that up over the next few days, both on my personal Instagram, which is Coaching Winners, and also onto the podcast, in case anybody's interested as to the kind of stuff that goes into this. But it's always a nerve-wracking day.
And I just want to give a big shout out to Kat as well, who is cleaning the apartments for us and has really taken ownership of them. And we would have had to have been at Kegworth much more had we not had Kat, because we came back the day before, quick whizzy round. They're all looking fantastic.
Fabulous. Yeah, we didn't need to do too much, because normally we have to sort of, as you do, you spruce things up, don't you, and try to put your best foot forwards, but they were already in really good condition. So yeah, absolutely. And it's difficult because you never get the same valuer. So you feel like you're starting from scratch again in terms of explaining the model, how it works, how we charge guests for cleaning, and why our profit margins are so high, because a lot of those costs are passed on. So we have a net zero position on that. And anyway, the bottom line is we don't know how it went. It always feels like it goes okay. We don't know. The proof is in the pudding. They'll go away with your information, but they're not just going to take your word for it.
Though, isn't it?
It's pretty exhausting. It's about 6 hours. For both of those blocks, or 6 hours for one of the hotels on its own. So you get a grilling. You need to know your business inside out. You need to know your numbers inside out. Otherwise,
it's a bit like Dragon's Den, really.
It is like Dragon's Den, yeah, it's exactly like that. And then we'll see what their verdict is, because they're not just, as much as we propose our valuation, they're not just going to go, okay, yeah, we'll go with what you said. But I like to think we'll hopefully be able to report back the next time we record this, if we've had the valuation. I like to think we know the methodology they use, but they use something called a commercial multiplier, and that is completely up to them.
Yes,
completely up to them. It can vary anywhere between 8 and 12. That's how much they multiply effectively your EBITDA in order to come up with a valuation. And there is, as far as I can see, there is no science to that. It's anybody's guess. So we shall see. But that's how the day goes. We go out, we take him on a tour of all the properties, room by room. You need to have access to everything. Luckily, we have pretty good access. We got ahead of this one and blocked a lot of the rooms. We did have a couple of guests, but they were very understanding. Quick whip round, he takes photos, measurements, etc. And then the grilling commences. We did it the other way around, this chap, didn't he? We had the grilling first. So just so he can get to grips with the numbers that we've put forward and how it all works. So we shall see. We shall see how that goes. Lastly, and we'll cover this really quickly because I'm aware we're going on a bit in this episode. It's been so much to cover. Working together.
We have very different styles.
We have very different styles, which is a positive, but it obviously creates its challenges. And we had a bit of a row last week, didn't we? Well, things came to a head, I would say. And I think what we realised after emotions had settled is that we'd got lazy in working together. We'd got lazy, we got complacent, we'd fallen back into bad habits. I think we've done this well in the past, and I know we'll do it well again following the sort of clear out we had in terms of working together. But I think we got lazy. We stopped using systems to assign tasks, not just to each other, but just priorities of what needs to be done. And it's partly because we are like ships in the night sometimes. We just got into the habit of dropping things on each other in passing conversation, as you do if you're a couple in everyday life.
And then you forget, and then,
I'll speak from my perspective. I might be sitting quietly in a corner somewhere, and that doesn't mean that there's a monkey playing the cymbals in my head and I'm just chilling out. I'm almost certainly, knowing me, planning something, doing something, working out what I've got to do in the day. And then you might come in and say, have you got this on your list? Have you got this? And we've got to do this. And have you done this? And, I'll do the same to you. And at some point, one or both of us snap. It's overwhelming because it just, that's never going to work. That's not how you choose to run a business.
No.
If we weren't husband and wife, you wouldn't run a business like that.
No.
And that's what we need. And what we're going to do, I mean, this sounds so simple, but how many of you are doing this? I know we haven't been for the last few months. Some simple, practical steps to separate a little bit work from everyday life, relationships, family, whatever it is. So your request, if you like, was you want to have a 30-minute structured catch-up every day, preferably in the morning.
Probably doesn't even need to be 30 minutes, but just a catch-up in the morning. You've got your laptop, I've got my notebook, just to go through exactly what we're doing during the day, so that I don't need to say to you, oh, have you done?
Yeah.
Because when it pops into my head, I just have to say it.
Yeah.
I can't, it's hard for me not to not say
So
it.
What are you doing today? What am I doing today? What are the priorities? What we're working on? What do we both need to get done?
Yeah.
Just clear that out first thing, so that it doesn't just sort of like drag through the rest of the day, and you're trying to do something nice like go on a walk, and all you're talking about is well, have you done this, have you done that, kind of thing, and the whole thing, it just blurs the lines too much. I'm also keen for us to get back to using a system where we allocate tasks. So when you come in and say to me, as you like to do, is this on your list? I don't know. Is it on my list? Let's put it on the list. Let's have a list. Let's make sure we have a system where we can assign tasks.
You have admitted to me in the past, though, you have ticked things off the list that you haven't done just to stop me nagging. Go on, you haven't.
No,
you have.
No, not to try and avoid doing them, but yeah, if I felt it wasn't worthy of allocation. But no, that's fine. The point is, if it just becomes, if running a business, this is now, I guess technically a multi-million-pound trading business, if we run that by nagging each other as husband and wife, that's never going to work. You wouldn't run a business like that. So we need to treat the business seriously, and we need to treat our relationship seriously. So I think a system where we can track projects, what's going on with Sefton Place, what's going on with the plumbing at Eton House. We need all of that to be tracked with tasks assigned, so we all know what we're doing, we'll know it, so we don't have to keep thinking we've got to check what the other person's doing and whether they've done their bit, sort of thing. And then we can have a weekly catch up and just go through it and just see where everything's up to. That's broken down into 30-minute start of every day. What are our priorities for the day coming? Yes. And the hope is, we've not implemented it yet, but the hope is that will relieve the pressure valve, I guess, on sort of everyday life. So yeah, that's us. That's what works for us. I'm sure there will be some people that can relate to some of what we go through, trying to run this as a couple. We're a small team. We have an amazing team, but we have a very small support team. And in terms of certainly the property development stuff, a lot of that does fall to us. All of it falls to myself and Caroline, and we've got big stuff going on, as you can tell.
Big stuff.
So that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Episode 20, I've got it right this time. I was very confident last time when I said I think episode 18, and it actually turned out that it was 19. But I have checked. It is episode 20 of season 4. No, I'm joking. Season 3 of the Secret Service podcast. Please do check us out on YouTube.
Don't forget the competition.
Don't forget the competition. Good point. Staycation.gateway. Do you know what? I'm doubting myself now, because after getting the episode number wrong last time, let me just check that we are actually signposting people to the right place. Yes, I got it right. Staycation.gateway on Instagram. Check out our post. There's a competition post on there. You have the chance to win a 2-night stay worth certainly over £2,500, probably over £3,000, depending on how many people stay. Absolutely prime spot in the New Forest. If you've been, you'll want to go back. Goes without saying. If you've never been, you have to go. It's a jewel in the crown, really, in this country. And Little A's is the premium spot if you want to check it out. Interiors, everything sumptuous, beautiful. It's a real treat. And so enter the competition, but most importantly do that because it will allow you, if you follow us on Instagram, staycation.gateway, you'll be the first to see the launch of our amazing new online portal, which we're super proud of and can't wait to show you.
Perfect, brilliant.
Other than that, Take care, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Bye bye.
Bye.